Hello and welcome. This is the Zephyrus G16. It has been fully redesigned for 2024. And this version I have here includes the RTX 4060 paired with a gorgeous 16-inch ROG Nebula OLED display with 240Hz refresh rate, 0.2 millisecond response time, and G-Sync on board. Truly drool-worthy specs. But I'm sure all of you want to know how well it can game, considering the RTX 4060 in this laptop is constrained to 100 watts max TDP. That's 85 watts nominal plus 15 watts of dynamic boost. And does it run all the way up to 100 watts of performance during gaming? And how does it fare against other RTX 4000 offerings so far this year? Particularly the RTX 4070, now that we're starting to see above 100 watts of performance in games after a year of driver updates and tweaking. In this video, we'll take a look at 19 game benchmarks at QHD+, that's 2560 by 1600 resolution, the native resolution of this panel, as well as selected games at FHD+, or 1920 by 1200 resolution. Before we begin though, please click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when there's new content available here. Let's jump in and find out. As we look at the benchmarks here from the Zephyrus G16, we see that RTX 4060 is doing quite well. And if we look at the game's performance here across a selection of games, despite being constrained to only 100 watts of max TGP, we're getting most of that power here from that GPU. That means running at around 70 to 90 watts is what I saw during different games. And all of these games were tested here at two different resolutions as marked down on the slides below, except for the ones where other data was not available. So that said there, most of these games were running at either 60 FPS or above 60 FPS at the native 2560 by 1600 resolution of this display, which I think is quite impressive for just an RTX 4060. And most of the credit for this goes to the DLSS technology that's now built into the RTX 4000 series. And of course, a few selected games here also include the frame generation technology. We're starting to see frame generation make its way into more and more games, but until that becomes prevalent or all of these integrated technologies become part of DirectX ray tracing, which is going to be a super API, which includes all of the lower level hardware APIs that's coming from Microsoft in the near future, we're going to have to be sticking with whatever is available out of the box for each particular game. That said, there excellent performance from the RTX 4060 even at 80 watts. I was pretty impressed, but do keep in mind that this device gets hot and loud, and for that head over to my other video to see the thermals. A more interesting comparison here is between the 4060 and 4070. For this, I've used the MSI Raider 16, which I recently reviewed with the RTX 4070, and the figures for the RTX 4060 are coming from the Zephyrus G16 for 2024. That said, both of these GPUs are showing quite a disparity between the 4060 and 4070. Now, do keep in mind there's a lot of caveats and assumptions here. The RTX 4060 can max out only at 100 watts, whereas the RTX 4070 in the MSI Raider was rated for max TGP of 140 watts, but despite that, it only ran around 150 to maybe 120 watts in only some games. Most of the times, the performance was right around 100 watts. So you're getting comparable performance, and that 10 to 15 watts difference between the two GPUs is definitely showing its face here. And we're starting to see that the 4070 does have a lead, and that lead is starting to grow in many games as we move into 2024 with all of the driver updates and the tweaks that have made to the hardware and the software to really give us a differentiation between the 4060 and the 4070 this year, considering we're going to be stuck with those GPUs at least until CES of 2025. Overall, an excellent showing from 4060, and it can show that it stands on its own right against the RTX 4070. Alright, I hope you found that as surprising in a good way as I did. As we saw, the RTX 4060 is an impressively capable GPU that keeps getting better and better with the introduction of DLSS and frame generation to more and more games. And despite the 100 watt max TGP, it can do near or above 60 FPS in the majority of the games tested at the native QHD plus resolution of this panel. And how about the RTX 4070? The RTX 4060 holds its own against the RTX 4070, but there's no denying that there is a widening gap between the two. Despite not having equal power levels and other factors that are not comparable, the RTX 4060 did quite well. Don't let the numbers fool you. The RTX 4060 and the Zephyrus G16 got game. Well, that's all I have to say for now. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this content, please click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know when new content is available here. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.